So, seeing as I'm getting more into the lower tiers, and they're actually pretty fun. UU is my favorite so far. Can't wait to get one of those. But here's an NU game. While the past gen OUs may be my specialty, then mainly the 3 through 5, sometimes 6 on a good day. Then here we have two of the top NU players, and Soulgazer of the... Fuck, why can I never remember what teams they're on? Soulgazer is on the Classiest, and that Blast, aka Blast Chance, aka Slayer of Cased Victories. Yeah, they're fighting off, and so we see some interesting pokes. I've liked Mismagius ever since it was introduced in Gen 4, and it's like one of two Pokemon that learned this move called Mystical Fire, and I forget the details, but it's pretty cool fire coverage. And we see Sceptile, two Sceptiles. Surely Mega is not allowed in NU, because I know it's a stable in UU. Now that's not perfect logic, but I mean it would just seem horribly overpowering. But yeah, Sceptile is the legal one. Anyway, Classiest are up 3-0, so Blast is going to try to bring it back. And he doesn't have a Mega Sceptile anyway because he's got a Glalie. Running regular Glalie just for spikes would seem kind of iffy. So now that I'm done struggling with the ban list, I don't think Soulgazer's team has a Mega because I'm pretty sure Mega Steelix is like the face of RU. There's Glalie, there's Scyther. A good start for Blast. Let's see if he can take advantage of this lead matchup. He can pretty safely U-turn. I would assume he has that. Most Scyther do. Even bulky SD tends to run U-turn for early game setup, or early game scouting, sorry, akin to bulky SD Scizor. So U-turn, that takes a chunk, so I think we can assume Bandit. He doesn't Mega. Oh, he's just a Spikes dude. So no Mega on either side, I suppose. But I think Mega Glalie is also one of the faces of RU, so that might have been it. So now that we've got that out of the way, we see Blast is running some Spikes offense. And he's got Mismagius for the spin block. And Hitmonchan, it doesn't really break through Mismagius too well. I forget if they learn Knockoff, which I really should know. But let's check real quick. Nope, it can't learn Knockoff. Okay, thank God for the Dex thing. The only dark move it could use against Mismagius is Thief or Fling, but somehow I don't see we're going to see Mismagius getting flung here. And Mismagius is not only a good move because it blocks spin, but because it also resists Hitmonchan's Fighting Stab, yada yada. And Soulgazer's Ghost Resist is approximately nothing. So while an Iron Fist, Thunder Punch, or Ice Punch might, send Mismagius skewing all over the place a little bit, it's not going to kill. Now Scarf, maybe he wants to stay in because Max Speed Glalie is faster than Max Speed Hitmonchan to check if it's Scarf or not. Plus, Glalie can run Explosion, and that's a thought. Just exploding here would be really hard for Soulgazer to defend against, unless he, wants to go to Steelix on a possible Mismagius switch. Nope, just Mach Punch. And Glalie goes down. That's a good move from Soulgazer, preventing Explosion. Wouldn't have done anything to Mismagius, but he recognized that the threat of Explode to neutralize, or pretty much kill Hitmonchan unless it's Sash, which I kind of have a hard time seeing, considering it's a spinner. And Suicide Sash lead spinners are most commonly seen in DPP Ubers, actually, and not really other places. Commonly, at least. And those guys have spikes. So here's Will-O-Wisp. Have you guys seen the new animations? Are great. Icy Wind got one. Dark Pulse was shown in the New Breed versus Llamas battle, but Will-O-Wisp too. I mean, jeez. So instead of firing off Ghost Stab, like I think he might have wanted to, considering there's no resist, maybe he was afraid of Hitmonchan staying in and hitting him, but I mean, surely, well, maybe it doesn't 2-hit kill. Maybe it's Hex. And Hex would probably just drop that Samurott right now. If it is Hex, which the lower tier ghosts all seem to run, then I would be surprised to not see it here. is, I mean, unless it's Assault a Samurott or something, even then, you would drop it into Torrent, but, yeah, I don't think, well, it might kill him. Magus, remember, has a lot of SPDF. It has 105 SPDF, which translates up to 339 at max for those of you. I've never really met anyone else who thinks in terms of, you know, the actual numbers instead of base stats. There's Taunt, predicting Shell Smash. No, it doesn't use Shell Smash. And it is Life Orb, and Aquajet with the burn will not do shit, so Hex is killing now. I was thinking Shell Smash because it runs like as Shell Armor and uses like Shell Break, but pretty sure Shell Smash, it does not get Shell Smash. Or else, why are people not using it? I'm not sure what the rationale behind the taunt there was. Sceptile also does pretty decently against the team if he can get rocks up. But of course his spin blocking ability has now been hindered because he took that Hydro rather unnecessarily. But no Solve as Hex is killing, nothing resists it, so it's pretty likely Blast picks up a KO here and evens out the score at 5-5. Although Miss Magus did take a hit, he really did not want it to. So maybe he was afraid of dropping him in a Torrent. That's the best explanation I can think of. Here comes Scyther. There's a crit doing 55. And, well, this Magus clearly has some bulk, but I don't think it's enough to say that Scyther is a Violite. The Violite Bulky SD was one of my favorite sets in Black and White RU, but I think it would have taken that a little better. So, this Hex is only like 65 pre-status. So, Rhydon's a good counter, but U-turn, well, it is a speed tie also, if they're both running max speed, but I think a bulky Miss Magus is much less likely. So here comes Rhydon. There's Knockoff taking the Violite, but U-turn would have let him just go right into Hitmonchan without letting him get rocks up, and having to play around that should he not immediately get the spin-off, which would, after the crit, lead Scyther dead. So that's pretty much the impact of the crit. I mean, it's not going to affect a kill on it in all likelihood, but I think that it's more the, in case he doesn't get the spin-off, not being able to switch back into rocks one more time, that's going to be a factor. So, and I also think that U-turning there was much better, because Miss Magus does not want to stay in, and even a banded U-turn would have stung. Plus he had a good Samurott to throw away, and he could have just U-turned one more time with Scyther. So I think that knockoff was a bit hasty on Soulgazer's part, especially when, you know, there's a perfect counter right on. Now he's got to deal with getting up rocks and playing that game. So, Soulgazer's threats include, well, oh, he's going to Samurott. Oh, he goes for an Earthquake right away, and so no rocks yet. I guess he really wanted to, hit that Hitmonchan, which is currently at full, so it'll be at 88 after spikes. Actually, no, he's not going to Hitmonchan here, though. He's going to... That's a nice move on Soulgazer's end, actually, now that I think about it. Not going to Hitmonchan and relying on spin games. Instead, punishing him for getting up rocks by going to Samurott, because something would die to Hydro Pump, and Sceptile would get, you know, jackhammered by Ice Beam. And speaking of Sceptile, I think Soulgazer's going to his own now, because it's much better to, instead of, you know, threatening with dinky close combats, which, I mean, without the Violite, it'll do much less, but yeah, just much better to, you know, send in the threat now and start opening some holes. Blast's grass resists are Sceptile and Pyroar, neither of which I would believe take too kindly to a Specs Leaf Storm. Not sure if that is the set. It could be Swords Dance, or it could be Life Orb, but Leaf Storm is maybe not a kill, but now I'm going to look up Pyroar's stats. I think it's pretty fast. Okay, it's like near Infernape Keldeo speed, Terrakion speed, which is 108, I think, which it's 346. I think that's 108 base, and it's 106. It's got a lot of special attack, actually. Not very good bulk at all. So and it is slower than Sceptile. So I haven't heard much tell of Scarf Pyroar. Actually, now that I say it out loud, I think I've heard it mentioned once or twice, but all that's going to do is scare Sceptile out once. However, that may be what he needs, considering that Sceptile isn't, raring to come in, but it's still going to be healthy. At the same time, I don't think he wants to switch into Pyro, because I just noticed Soulgazer's one fire resist just died. So if Pyro comes in and drops Fire Blast, something goes down. Sceptile's weak, Scyther's weak, Steelix is weak, Garbodor's getting two-shotted, Hitmonchan, unless it's Assault Vest, is getting two-shotted. Yep, there's Sceptile, there's Leaf Blade, making use of that high crit rate. No Life Orb. I mean, banned Sceptile would be odd. But, and it probably would have done a little more, because Sceptile is not known for its bulk. On the physical end, at least. And its special bulk isn't, bad, but it's not, like, great either. It's very middle of the line, especially compared with its HP stats. So, we'll just say that's SD Lum. Or, maybe no item, actually, if it's Acrobatics, which would handle Vileplume, which I believe is the main counter used in NU. So, Sceptile Wars depends. If Blast is running like Specs with HP Fire, then he's slower. And HP Fire would also put a dent in Vileplume, so I would assume they run that as coverage. But if Focus Blast also puts a dent in, I'm not sure if Blast really wants to play this game. Scarf Sceptile would be funny but stupid. Blast Timer's at 20 seconds. Goodness gracious. There's Swords Dance. There's Acrobatics of Blasts. Oh, it's a Citrus Berry set. Wow, nice move on Soulgazers, and now he's faster. And, for sure. So, Blast is the one running no item Sceptile. Soulgazer's got Citrus. And that triggers Unburden. So, Sceptile gets... I don't know if it sweeps, because he's got Kanga for 2 Fake Outs, but it's going to take, like, 2 pokes with it. Unless he wants to switch to Kanga here, I think that's the best course of action, so he doesn't lose everything, because he can clean up this game, but, Soulgazer going down would, the Sceptile going down would bring it to 4 pokes, 40 seconds left, nothing can kill Kanga, he needs to fake it out twice anyway. Alternatively, he can just sack Sceptile and go into Kangaskhan and just kill it. Yeah, so, he Leaf Bladed, there's Citrus of Blasts, now he gets his Unburden and kills back with the full power Acrobatics. I don't know what that was. There's Hitmonchan threatening with Mach. Here comes Mismagius, almost certainly. I think Soulgazer should do something about it. I mean, it's kind of a hard trigger to pull, but at the same time, no, I guess Blast was not letting that happen. I think the Mismagius switch was a little too easy there. Especially because we got some more leftovers, but I am not sure why Soulgazer did not Acrobatics there. Because maybe he was trying to kill the Kangaskhan switch, but that wasn't happening. I just don't understand why he wouldn't do that. Because Acrobatics killed everything with Leaf Blade after, and so that didn't make much of a difference. He goes to Scyther on the Will-O-Wisp, knocking off once more, but surely now he actually struggles with Rhydon a little. Well, without it's a Violite and it's already taken a hit, then it's not really much of an issue, I suppose. This Mismagius, on the other hand, is. Steelix gets burned, Hitmonchan can't really touch it without getting burned, at least. Garbodor kind of gets manhandled, so if I'm Soulgazer, if I have Pursuit, I use it. If not, I use U-Turn. There's U-Turn. Here comes Steelix. Steelix getting up rocks would help. It would also, chip into Pyroar. But there's the prediction element, because if he goes to, if you set up rocks, as Pyroar comes in, then it's nothing. And if you EQ as Pyroar comes in, then you haven't got rocks, but it's not as big a deal. But Pyroar is also threatening to drop SG, and I just don't understand why he didn't Acro with Sceptile. The only thing, Soulgazer is a smart guy, so maybe he just didn't have it, but why have Citrus Berry in that case? Oh, here comes Hitmonchan, not wanting a Steelix war, I suppose. Well, it does threaten everything with close combats, and Blast Mismagius is so valuable, I just don't see him handling it. Worth noting now that Blast has four fighting weeks. So, close combat almost certainly here, which will take out Rhydon. If he lets Mismagius go down, I know he's got the Pyroar as a secondary option for blasting through shit, but Mismagius is also so dangerous that I just don't think he should let it go. So there's Drain Punch, not close combat, sorry, and now the Hitmonchan is back at full, so that can help it weather a Pyro or Assault. Nice, that's good for Soulgazer, for sure. Forgive me for stating the obvious, but I didn't want to say nice choice because he already had the move. I guess it was a nice choice making that, picking that move for his Hitmonchan, but it's probably standard. So Miss Mages is here once more. And honestly, I don't think he lets this go, this Hitmonchan, so I think he just sacks Scyther, so he should just Hex. Gotta be a little more aggressive. I guess he can sort of, but this threatening to knock off and U-turning thing and switching to Hitmonchan each time is the best way for Soulgazer to get the advantage back and for Blast to lose it. So I think Blast should just sort of try to step on his throat after he was sort of bailed out a kill there. With the non-Acro thing. I mean, he surely must not have had it. Otherwise, it was just a Thunder Blunder. Because he could have just sending Kangaskhan after killed, and he would have been down one poke anyway. So, there's Kanga. There's the loss of Silk Scarf, as Soulgazer finally goes for knockoff. But Blast knows this Miss Magus is too valuable to lose. He's got Steelix, so perhaps he goes to that. And finally gets up some rocks to limit Miss Magius gaining leftovers every time it switches in. Plus, it's always good to have a sack in the form of Scyther. So, Blast might as well use Earthquake here, though, if he has it. Because Scyther is dying to burn. I suppose Fake Out prevents him from taking any more damage. But it's knockoff from a burned Scyther. It is Choice Band, but the Kangaskhan doesn't even have an item anymore. I don't think that the extra HP he's going to lose is going to make a difference. There's Garbodor. Did he Earthquake? He Aqua-tailed, aiming for Licks, and he missed. So if that's Rocky Helmet Garb, which I assume they run since they like to run it with Aftermath for super cool residual fun stuff, then it would have taken a little more of a chunk, but nice move on Blastin, aiming for the Licks and finishing off. It doesn't matter if he misses against the Scyther. It doesn't matter a little if he misses here. But no EQ, which is a shame, because that would have dunked on Garbodor too. Perhaps they just don't run it. There's Spikes, which is cool. I guess it limits Pyroar a little, but he's just giving Miss Magius health back. Miss Magius is amazing. I remember thinking in NU last year, dude, why don't dudes use Miss Magius? This thing is incredible. I used to call it Miss Magius when I was younger. There's Gunkshot doing approximately nothing and a half. He's barely out-damaging leftovers. But as long as he doesn't actually gain leftovers, then, you know. Oh! Huh. I guess he was going for the poison with Gunkshot, but Psychic, that's cool. That's nice because it hits other Garbodors. And surely something else that I am not familiar with. It actually hits fighters, but I think that Garb's Gunkshot handles fighters pretty well regardless. Oh wow, that Miss Magus is not strong. I mean, Burned Hex. Maybe it's just Max Def Garbodor or something, but that did way too fucking much. So now Knockoff is actually kind of risk-free, so that actually turned out quite well for Soulgazer. Since with the spike down, then Kanga, you know, coming in to take more damage, and that's nice. This Magus, if it stays in, it dies. There's Kanga once more. And, oh, he went for Aerial Ace. God fucking damn! That's Swarm. That's not Swarm. That's not a bug move. How did that do so much? My god. Scyther doesn't get Guts. Well, if it was Guts, it probably would have killed, but here comes the Steelix. There's Earthquake from Kanga. I don't know why he didn't use that then. That was a misplay. If he has Earthquake, because it hits Garbodor as well, doesn't risk missing, and he would have had a healthier Miss Magus had he gone for it. So that was a mess up on Soulgazer's end, so he's got the Rocks and Spikes now. I guess he does not need... so he's counting on the Asolphus Hitmonchan to bail him out. So, yeah, Aquatailing there was definitely a mistake. I mean, the miss sucked, but if he had Earthquake, he definitely needed to go for it. So, now, if that's in Hex range, then he can go to it and then burn Hitmonchan, and a burned Hitmonchan, even with Rocks and Spikes up, digging into Pyroar, then it would have a harder time beating that, because Pyroar has pretty good special attack. Pyroar coming in means that Hitmonchan, I think he has to go to Mismagius, because he does not want Pyroar facing off against a healthy Hitmonchan. What he could do, and I don't think Pyroar switching in to finish off the Steelix, and then switching to Mismagius on the fighting move, then burning it, well, that could work, but I think that might be his best shot, actually. Blast timer at 40 seconds, 30. There's Miss Mag. I mean, I am not confident about... Well, I guess the Kangaskhan did not do very much with Earthquake, so it's most likely quite a physically defensive Steelix. So he has good hopes for Hex, and he crits, so we'll never know. I mean, I'm not confident in that not killing. Blast asks if it mattered, so I'm assuming he just thought it killed and wasn't banking on anything. But now he gets the Will-O-Wisp off. It depends on the spread, but seeing as how weak that boosted Hex was earlier, and he hits another Wisp, thank God for 85 accuracy in XY, boys. Seeing as how little it did to that Garbodor, then it just does not make me confident. Anyway, we've got the assumed Solvus Hitmonchan burned, facing off against, someone said Guts Hitmonchan, and I was like, Hitmonchan doesn't get Guts. Well, there's Fire Blast, there's the miss, Drain Punch, survived, and Soulgazer's going to win this game. So, Pyroar was not going to kill that, since it is Assault Vest, so he needed a crit. And apparently the Hex was a roll. So, Soulgazer's going to take this home. That was a fucking close one, man. I enjoyed an NU battle. Never thought I'd say that. There were some moves that I think were quite some large-ish mistakes, but overall, that was a fine battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, thank you for watching.